Hello, welcome to Microsoft Excel Level 3, Video 3. And today we're looking at more VLOOKUP. And in our examples today, we're going to move away from labels as are reported back in our VLOOKUP table to now money or numbers. And not a lot difference here, just the chart looks a bit more confusing and can tend to cause students a bit more stress. So we started with label examples, and now we're moving up into something that you would see maybe more often in a shipping company like Amazon. So our example today, we have a customer name, we have the amount of products that they've purchased, and we want our Excel spreadsheet to then take that dollar value, compare it to the shipping and handling chart, and then report back how much it would cost to ship each of these products. This is used a lot, all the time. So any of these companies or any place where you're working where you have to ship product out, it could be analyzing it by weight, it could be analyzing it by dollar value. It really doesn't matter in terms of the data that you collect, but it's still going to perform a VLOOKUP. Now we have a very short chart here. I only made the chart small just so that it's fast and easy for us to actually type the data in. In speaking about that, if there were changes needed to be to our chart, that causes a bit of problems. So what I mean by that is if we created our VLOOKUP here and completed everything and flowed this down and had our answers for everything, and then realized that, oh, wait a minute, 176, that's not $14.95. That's too cheap to send that. We need to add on a few more rows to our chart. We would then have to go back and readjust our first one and flow everything back down again. So part of today's activity is going to be looking at that as well. Not only giving us just answers of a response of numbers as an answer, but what to do if we need to then change our chart after we've already made a spreadsheet with VLOOKUP and we have a whole bunch of responses and data already created. So go ahead and pause the video at this point and you can create this sheet for yourself, and I'll see you back in a few seconds. Okay, welcome back. And here we go. We're going to make a VLOOKUP, and then we're going to go through a modification of our table process. So we click where we want our answer to be, and you've done these a few with level 1, or sorry, video 1 and 2, so you should be good. Equals VLOOKUP. Oops. Open bracket. Choose the cell that we want to do, comma, grab our table. Let go, comma 2, close bracket, and of course our last piece is to get our dollar sign. So carefully click in front of the E, dollar sign E, carefully click in front of 7, dollar sign 7. Same thing with F, same thing with 11. Okay, there is our completed VLOOKUP statement. And just like we did with every video through all the levels now, I always confirm the blue in B2 is the cell that I want to check. Yes. Orange for our table location, and it's got the orange colored box all the way around. All the data is chosen. The label on the top is not chosen. That's accurate. Comma 2, second column is our answer that we want displayed. And I have no spaces anywhere. Usually if you have a space or you've made a mistake, you won't get the color coordination. So this is another tip to help students who are new to this. If you drop in a dollar sign and suddenly everything stays black or turns black and you lose your color coordination, something's wrong. You've got a space, your dollar sign is in the wrong location, there's something just off. So everything is colored properly, everything looks great. Go ahead and press enter. 749. So if you don't trust the computer, we can check this manually. 39.75. So that's above 30, but below 60. So it falls in the gap between 30 and 60, which means it's the one just above on the other column. 749. Perfect, 749. So I'm going to click on the 749 once with the white cross to choose it. Once again, bottom right-hand corner, solid black cross. Hold the left mouse button down, pull, 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 pull to drag down, and there's our answers. So our new piece today that I'm going to have you practice, and we're going to do an example of this one right away, and we'll explain it in detail, is 176.75. That's another level, right? So I know that, we've got specific ranges in here, but we're going to say that suddenly, well, things got a lot more expensive, or people are suddenly buying a lot more product. Maybe the purchases that they're buying here is toilet paper during the COVID, which seems like everybody bought all that out. I've got a new cost range that is off the chart. Oh boy, what do I do? How do I resolve this issue? So let's go ahead, first of all, to our chart, and we're going to put in a 170 range. So $170 is going to cost, let's say, $20 to ship. So I add in my new row inside of the chart. I'll slide this up a little bit. I'm going to zoom in a bit so it's a bit bigger for you guys. Sorry. Our first dilemma here is, of course, everything else is currency, and our new row in our chart is not. All right, let's fix that. White cross on top of the 170. Hold the left mouse button down. Pull across to the right to select both those cells. Let go. And up in the top here, I'm going to hit the dollar sign. And that should automatically convert over to currency for us. Okay, you can see that my first column was formatted a little bit differently. I guess I could be picky and we'll fix all of this column since it seems a little bit off. There we go. So now we've got the 2 decimal places. Everything looks consistent. There is a bit of a difference here. My dollar sign is gapped. Well, let's see. We'll fix all of those ones too. We'll highlight all of those and we'll hit the dollar sign. So why did those look different? Probably because I made this actually on a Windows computer on a different version of Excel. So some of my older data files like this, I'll notice that as I convert them to a newer version of Excel, there are some little weird oddities like that that happen. It doesn't really matter. It's just more of an aesthetic thing. So if you want it all looking identical, then you can just highlight it like I did and hit your dollar sign. Now this problem will only come in if you're using files from an older computer and putting it onto a newer computer. Nothing goes wrong, like the data, the answers, everything stays the same. It's just a little bit of the cosmetics that go a little bit different. Okay, so I have my new row now added in to my chart. I have it formatted correctly, so everything looks the same. It looks perfect. Here's the problem. If I go back over here to this formula and I give it a click, right, the bottom row is not included in, because when we program this at the beginning, it doesn't have the newer things that we added in now. That doesn't just automatically happen. So regardless whether it's the first one or this one where it actually impacts, this is the important one, click, click, it still does not have that included in there. So this is a dilemma that I know some people have had in the work world. They've made a wonderful spreadsheet 10 years ago and everything worked fine. And then suddenly this year, they had to make a change. They had to do an addition like this, where we had to add another column or a row into a chart, for example, and boom, suddenly things aren't adding up or things aren't working properly. The problem solving side of this one is part of what we'll talk about in some of the bonus videos. But yeah, if you do need to make a change like that, it's just being cognizant to realize that I've updated the chart. I now need to update the formulas. So how do I do this? Here we go. We're going to double click up here on the first one. So it has to be the first one up at the top. So remember, our top row is our labels. We don't worry about that one. But the first row that has the data, like the equation in there, so our first VLOOKUP, we're going to choose that one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to highlight my chart, and I'm going to pull down 1. And I'm going to slide it up and down a couple of times. And if you look up, look at my VLOOKUP equation as I move this thing around, see it updating and changing with me? So now I'm just going to slide it down the one row to add it in and let go. So what I have now is everything is included. So we've gone from $E, $7, colon, $F, $11 to now $12. We've included that new row in. All right. Once again, before we press enter and update all the others, we need to make sure, look back at your chart. Is everything included in? And I have all of my new chart updated, and it is all included in the equation. So we're good now. Go ahead and press enter. We've updated to 749. Well, it was 749 before. And the reason for that is that the new data doesn't impact, because this part is, sorry, the equation that we have up here references the earlier part. It's the bottom one that's going to change. So click once on this first one that we fixed and updated. Grab the bottom right corner with the solid black cross. Hold the button down, pull, 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 pull to auto flow those up. And when we let go, the last one updates to $20. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Practice this one. You can delete this last row out and wipe out all of the data here that we've created. Make the original one, then add a new row in. You can pick whatever numbers you want, it doesn't matter. And then update your chart and see if that works and updates for you. Thanks for watching.